Hi, this is Stuart Hayton, real time with IPC. My guest this morning is Arne Salvesen, the President of Tronex. Arne, good to see you.
Nice to be here.
So, we talked off camera, and this is a first for me because we never talked about this stuff before. We're sat here at IPC APEX, and we're surrounded by pretty heavy and quite considerable machinery. You work in EMS, and it's an industry that's predominantly driven by robots. But we want to talk about these, which is very much a handheld device that requires human interaction. So your brochure that I've got here says that you're the leader in cutting technology and it's the best in the world. It's quite a strong claim, really, but
quite a strong claim. You're absolutely right. These tools, Stuart, are made 100% in the United States.
Right. So everything's made in America?
Yes.
Okay.
U.S. steel, springs, grips, nuts, screws, everything we source in the United States. We've been in business now for over 20 years, and we style ourselves as the technical leader and also the quality performance leader in our little niche business. That is, people who make hand tools that can cut 100, 200, 500,000 times and cut exceptionally flush are really rare.
So a measure then of a good cutting tool is the flushness of the cut?
That's one measure. The other measure is just simply how many cuts can you get before the tool gets dull or that the joint gets weak and it doesn't cut.
Okay, so how many cuts would I expect to get then out of
You could
a
get
Tronex
several 100,000 cuts before it gets dull, and then it can be resharpened.
All right, okay.
And you get another very long lifetime. Another important factor in these tools and the design of them is that they allow access to a printed circuit board to make an unusual cut. This tool, for example, has a very low profile, so it can get underneath.
Okay.
This tool cuts at a 50-degree angle, so the operator can also get over or beyond a component.
So there's a whole range of tools then depending on the topography of the circuit.
In this catalog, Stuart, there's over 100 different models that we produce and offer for sale to our customers. We sell, incidentally, all over the world. In fact, more than half of our business is export out of the U.S.
Okay.
That's where the electronics industry is going, and that's where we go with them.
So these are made in the States. I know you've got a very clever design that we probably want to talk about. Designed in the States, made in the States, sourced globally. The electronics industry, as we both know, is there's the largest single proportion in Asia. What about Asian competition on this? I mean, this at face value, this looks like something that's pretty straightforward to copy. Yeah, and I know I'm probably wrong, but just from a perception.
No, I think it's true. It could be copied. The unique part of our product line and our business is that these products, we sell them in thousands per year, not hundreds of thousands. So we're talking about a niche business. There are only a handful of companies in the whole world that make tools that perform at this level. And that discourages Japanese or Chinese manufacturers who are used to extremely high volumes. You can't buy these tools in a local hardware store. These are designed for industrial applications.
So the fact that it's a smaller volume then would imply that there's a craftsmanship within the manufacturing process.
That's absolutely correct. The tool is quite simple. There's only 10 or so pieces in the entire product, but the manufacturing of this tool to achieve the performance levels that we consistently get takes over 30 separate manufacturing steps, and there are quality checks along the way. But it looks like it's a simple tool. It's not. It's complicated.
Okay. I mean, I guess that must be one of the most difficult parts in the sales process. How do you differentiate suppliers? Is it something that's driven by market need, or is it something that you need to go out and explain to the market and then differentiate yourself from perhaps the cheaper mass-produced tool?
I think it's both, really. That some of our tools, some of our models are similar to our competitors' models, but other tools are absolutely unique, that we have designed ourselves internally in response to inquiries and needs expressed by customers.
Okay.
So we make them unique to Tronex itself.
So the market changes, the technology changes constantly. Do you find that that also then drives a different requirement in the tool in general? The tools that you're producing today, in terms of their profile, are they different to what you were producing 10 years ago?
Absolutely. I think, like, if we go back longer than 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when the industry made a switch from through-hole to surface mount, some people in our industry said, well, that will be the end of hand tools. If through-hole goes away, nobody will ever use hand tools on a surface mount board. Not true. They're used extensively, and the tools that we use are different than those used in a through-hole board, but we change with the changes in the industry.
I mean, what's the main use? Again, we started off by saying that the industry is predominantly automated, highly robotic. Is this when the robots get it wrong?
No, there are certain boards that are run at relatively lower volumes, where they are more cutting intensive. And there is also, sadly, a significant amount of rework and changes that are involved in boards. And hand soldering, for example, is often associated with hand tools and pliers.
Okay, so we've got a very high quality, craftsman-made American tool. How's business for such a niche product?
Right now, it's great. Our business is very strong, and I would have to qualify that a little bit. It's in particular our exports.
Okay.
Asia, European markets are very strong for us.
So you actually export into Asia?
We do.
Oh wow.
We have sold in Japan for, I would say, over 10 years. We are very successful in Japan. Japan in particular, Japanese recognize value. They're prepared to pay more for more performance, higher quality, and that's what we're seeing.
I guess one of the value propositions, though, is the ability not only to get more cuts, but the ability to resharpen. Is that something that's pretty novel important and unique about this?
No, I have to concede that some of our competitors also resharpen, but throwaway tools, the typical low-grade tools, are not able to be resharpened, and customers simply throw them away. Many Asian customers, for example, think that they should never have to pay more than $5 for a cutting tool. Well, they're talking about a throwaway, dispensable type of a product. This tool here is going to cost more than $5, but it will, in terms of dollars per cut, actually be a better value.
And what would be the resharpen cost as a percentage of the initial purchase price?
It's actually quite low. It's perhaps 10% of the
oh wow, okay.
So
and how many times could you have something resharpened?
We've, in our own shop, have sometimes resharpened 3 times.
Okay.
After so essentially 4 lifetimes of a tool.
Brilliant. Do you know what? It's fantastic to hear about proper craftsmanship and a business doing well. I'm really pleased. Thank you. Arne, thanks for sharing the story.
Thank you very much.
Interesting.
Enjoyed it.
Great. So Stuart Hayton, real time with IPC.